A stunning and historic move. President Biden ends his bid for re-election and endorses Vice President Harris.
Another twist in what has already been a historic election cycle.
But will she secure the nomination, and who could be her running mate?
Tonight, the New York power brokers who drove the president to his difficult decision.
This is another heroic act in a long-running series of heroic acts by Joe Biden.
He's grounded in his faith, in his family, and in our state. Excuse me.
Team coverage on the announcement sending shockwaves across the nation as voters react.
I think it takes a lot of courage.
Really thought that he should have dropped out sooner.
Good evening on this Sunday. I'm Christine Johnson.
I'm Maurice Dubois. No sitting president has ever dropped out of the race this late in the election cycle.
History made today by President Joe Biden by dropping out of the race.
And in a letter to the American people here today, the president wrote, "I believe it's in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down."
Tonight, President Biden is out at his home in Rehoboth Beach, pledging his full support to Vice President Kamala Harris to run in his place. Harris did not appear in public, but did release this statement saying, "I am honored to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination."
A live look at the White House right now, where Biden says he will serve the rest of his term. The race now upended, less than 4 months until Election Day, only 107 days away.
We have team coverage with reporters in New York, Washington, D.C., and Delaware. Let's begin here with CBS 2's Dick Brennan and today's fast-moving developments. Dick.
Christine, fast-moving indeed. We may have thought it was coming, but nonetheless, it was an extraordinary political shock. A sitting president says he won't run, the first time this has happened in more than 50 years, and the latest in a campaign that it's ever happened. And tonight, it's a move that's roiling both Democrats and Republicans. It was a stunning downfall. Joe Biden's political career spanned decades, but it all unraveled in a matter of weeks. The president, after agonizing for days and fuming at those moving to get him out, at last announced, "It is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down."
Joe Biden is grounded. He's grounded in his faith, in his family, and in our state. Excuse me.
Biden's close friend, Senator Chris Coons of Delaware, said it was hard for Biden to step aside.
I'm sorry. This was a very difficult decision, and one that I think reflects the very best of who Joe Biden is.
Looking for a smooth transition, Mr. Biden endorsed his vice president, Kamala Harris.
Are we ready to fight for it?
Harris posted this image on social media and said that she intends to win the nomination and defeat Donald Trump.
I think this country is going to be really interested, I think really surprised at the Kamala Harris that they're going to meet over the course of the next several weeks and months.
Political heavyweights are backing Harris, including the Clintons and many members of Congress, but others may step forward to challenge her. CBS News has learned that West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, who just registered as an independent, may go back to the Democrats to possibly go for the nomination, although he's not made a decision.
There is a lot here, and I believe the next few days will be of great consequence to figure out whether or not Kamala Harris's endorsement from Joe Biden will transfer to the rest of the party.
And then there's the question of a potential running mate for Harris. Already, the list is growing.
With the COVID,
The beginning of the end for Biden was his disastrous debate performance against Donald Trump. Many Democrats are now looking forward to a potential Trump-Harris debate, but not so fast. On Truth Social, Trump said that the already scheduled September debate should be moved to Fox News instead of ABC, raising questions about whether it may happen at all. Privately, the Trump campaign wanted Biden to stay in the race.
They're less than excited. They were ready for a landslide victory against Joe Biden. And now they're just hopeful that the Democrats push and kind of force through Kamala Harris as the nominee instead of letting an open process, because she has to defend the same policies, inflation, border crisis, and she owns those issues just like Joe Biden did.
Now, the political intrigue continues. Former President Barack Obama has not yet endorsed Harris for the nomination, but the vice president may already be trying to line up her own Veep. Josh Shapiro, governor of the crucial swing state of Pennsylvania, says he spoke with both Biden and Harris after today's announcement. Maurice.
Okay, Dick, thank you. And in the wake of the news today, grassroots supporters have raised $46.7 million. The American Political Action Committee and fundraising platform Act Blue tweeted that today has been its biggest fundraising day of the 2024 cycle.
The president's decision is likely more consequential here than anywhere else.
Several top New York lawmakers playing a pivotal role in driving Biden's exit. CBS 2 political reporter Marcia Kramer here now with that part of the story. Marcia.
Maurice and Christine, you could say that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries were like puppeteers, urgently yet privately pulling the strings to orchestrate the public campaign to convince President Biden to get out of the race.
President Biden, as I've said repeatedly, is our nominee.
As recently as 2 days ago, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries was still giving public lip service to the idea of Joe Biden running for re-election, even though all the while he had privately made it clear to the president that many Democratic members of the House thought it was time for the party to switch horses. Now he's full of praise, calling Biden one of the most accomplished leaders in history.
Joe Biden has been one of the most consequential presidents in American history. He rescued the country from a once-in-a-century pandemic, saved the economy from the possibility of recession, and also, of course, was able to preserve our democracy by defeating the former president, the insurrectionist in chief.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, the other New Yorker who played a pivotal role in the move to get Biden to step aside, praised him as, quote, a truly amazing human being. His decision, of course, was not easy, but he once again put his country, his party, and our future first. Joe Schumer said, today shows you are a true patriot and great American. Robert Zimmerman, a national committeeman from New York to the Democratic Party, pointed out the great sacrifice Biden is making.
He's putting his own ambitions second. He's putting our country's needs first by listening to the people and putting the focus on protecting our democracy and moving our nation forward first. It is just the opposite of Donald Trump, who never put our country ahead of his own personal ambitions.
Several New York congressmen who had publicly called for Biden to decline to run again not only praised him, but called on the party to unite behind Kamala Harris ASAP to give her the best chance of winning.
I feel strongly that we as a party have to unify around Vice President Harris so that we can shift the focus where it belongs on the critical mission of defeating Donald Trump. As far as I'm concerned, Donald Trump is too unhinged and too unstable to be anywhere near the presidency, and the time has come not for more instability, but for unity.
Mayor Adams is a delegate to the convention.
I want to just humanize this for a moment. This is a great American. You know how hard it is to set aside your ambition and what you always wanted to do because you think it's the best thing for the country. And that's what he did. All his personal tribulations and trials and pain, he continues to show why he is who he is.
Now, the mayor did not immediately endorse Vice President Harris, saying he wants to let the process play out. But sources say that both Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries spoke with Kamala Harris today.
And, Marcia, what effect do you think this is going to happen, or rather have in New York when it comes to the effort to flip the House?
Well, you know, I spoke with Hakeem Jeffries just 2 days ago, and he told me that they're going to wage a very vigorous campaign in New York again to try to unseat the 5 freshmen who were elected last time, 5 freshman Republicans, both in Long Island and upstate. He told me he thinks he can definitely take 2 seats, 1 in Syracuse, 1 in Long Island. But the fact that Kamala Harris will be on the ticket and will talk about abortion rights is expected to bring suburban women out, and it could not only help them take seats, but also hold a Democratic seat in the Hudson Valley.
What does the road ahead look like by getting Kamala Harris officially on the ticket? Will they wait for the Democratic National Convention?
I don't think that's going to happen. I think that because of the Chicago rule, which says that, the Ohio rule, which says that you have to have a person on the ballot by August 7th, it looks like there's going to be a virtual nomination process that would get her on the ballot so that she would be on the ballot in Ohio. Now, what sources are telling CBS News is that virtual hearing could happen as early as August 1st. We have to wait and see what happens.
Okay, more to come. Thank you, Marcia.
Well, top Democrats and Republicans in New Jersey are reacting to the news tonight.
And CBS 2's Christine Sloan spoke with them about this momentous day.
I'm elated that, he's endorsed Vice President Harris.
New Jersey Democratic Party chair and a superdelegate says Vice President Kamala Harris will work hard for the nomination.
She's not going to take anything for granted. She's going to be reaching out to every delegate, across this nation, certainly here in New Jersey.
Leroy Jones would like to see Senator Cory Booker as a VP pick. Booker praising Biden on X, saying, quote, he has decided to be the bridge to a new generation of leaders. Governor Phil Murphy, a Democrat supporting Harris, says Biden's tenure has been one of the most successful and impactful presidencies in American history. A source familiar with the outreach also tells me Murphy's name has been floated around as a possible VP candidate. This Republican running for governor, though, sees another route.
Simply put, the swing states are what are important this year. So I'm sure they're going to be looking for the swing states.
John Bromnick isn't supporting Trump, but believes Democrats are in trouble.
It shows the Democratic Party's in disarray. It also shows that the left wing of the Democratic Party is pulling the entire party way left. We've become the party of the working person.
The other Republican candidate for governor saying, quote, one thing that won't change is the Democratic Party being wrong on the issues and increasingly out of touch. Congressman Andy Kim, who won the Democratic primary for New Jersey's Senate seat, says the party is energized.
I do believe that, Vice President Kamala Harris is the right person to step up. Her name's been on the ballot. She's been the vice president for almost 4 years.
Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, one of the first Democrats to call for Biden to step down, also praising Harris, including her record on protecting abortion rights. In Union County, New Jersey, Christine Sloan, CBS 2 News.
And voters everywhere reacting to President Biden's big decision.
CBS 2's Jenna DeAngelis reports now from Times Square.
At the crossroads of the world, people from all over the country reacting to President Biden dropping out of the race.
I think he was a wonderful president.
But I wish he'd stay in because I want Trump.
Smart move on the Democrats.
I think it's about time.
It's a little bit scary because there's a lot of unknown.
The unknown leaving many voters we spoke with uneasy.
The economy, immigration crisis, is a lot of things. And we need stability.
That's getting close to the wire,
Some say they see this as a chance for change.
As a young person myself, I certainly feel that way.
Hopefully someone a little younger and a little more temperate than Trump or Biden.
I'm gonna fight for my girl Kamala.
I don't really know anyone that favors her, so I'm a little nervous that this is gonna kind of default to Trump.
Vice President Kamala Harris endorsed by President Biden, and it seems much of the audience here at Sunday's matinee of Suff's the Musical. The crowd chanting for the VP right as the curtain went up.
Literally, the news broke just moments before we took the stage.
Shayna Taub is the show's creator and star.
We fired up our audience today here at Suffs. We tell the story of the American women's suffrage movement.
And there were so many things in the piece that reflected what's going on today, that there was extra energy and excitement.
It's way past time for all of us to say, Madam President.
Who the Democratic candidate will be is still unclear, as is the direction the country will go.
But whoever the candidate is, I still think is a better candidate. It will be a better candidate than Trump.
I love Trump. He loves America.
Did this change my vote? Depending who comes in last minute, yes. And it comes down to who's the better candidate and who's the best candidate for the country.
Jenna DeAngelis, CBS 2 News.
Some historical context here. President Biden's abrupt end to his re-election campaign is reminiscent of President Lyndon Johnson.
In March of 1968, the country was in the middle of a very divisive and punishing Vietnam War. LBJ addressed the nation from the Oval Office.
I do not believe that I should devote an hour or a day of my time to any personal partisan causes or to any duties other than the awesome duties of this office, the presidency of your country. Accordingly, I shall not seek and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president.
After Johnson dropped out, Vice President Hubert Humphrey won the Democratic nomination but lost the White House to Republican Richard Nixon.